Hey guys, welcome to this awesome lecture on NumPy. Till now we looked at installing and setting up our environment, looking into IPython, looking into Jupyter Notebook, but NumPy, this guy is the actual meat of data science. All the future fancy packages that we're going to look at in our future lectures, like pandas, matplotlib, machine learning packages, all those packages or libraries, they depend on this library right here, which is NumPy. But what exactly is NumPy? NumPy means numerical Python. NumPy is a library in Python that's used for working with arrays. So you might ask, why arrays though? So by the way, these arrays come from linear algebra. So if you want to look into linear algebra, you can, but for this course, I'll make sure that you cover and you know everything that you need to know as far as NumPy or Python data science is concerned. So coming back to arrays, why do we care so much about arrays, right? When you're working with data, so you can think of data as it might be coming from different things, right? It might be coming from a sound data. It can be mining data. It can be a textual data, images. That's also a type of data, right? But when you think of all these different types of data, you can imagine that these data are actually sort of like arrays of numbers, right? You can think of all these data formats fundamentally as array of numbers. Like for example, images. You might be asking how an image is a number, right? So image, especially digital images, can be thought of as simply two-dimensional arrays of numbers representing pixel brightness across the area. So pixel brightness is one dimension and across the area is second dimension. So you can imagine images as array of numbers, two-dimensional array of numbers. But yeah, that's why we worry so much about array of numbers, because any kind of data, at the end of the day, under the hood, it's just array of numbers. That's why. So this is the reason we are so much focused on this specific library, NumPy, which deals with array of numbers. So now getting to it. As I said, NumPy stands for numerical Python. You can imagine NumPy as Python's built-in list type, but NumPy arrays provide much more efficient storage and data operation as the array grows larger in size. Again, one important part, NumPy, this is the foundation. This actually forms the foundation of the entire ecosystem of data science. So how do you work with NumPy now? So to do that, let me open my terminal here. Where is it? Let's move this guy. Let's open up my terminal. This guy here. I'm gonna open up a new guy here. Just minimize that. So yeah, so how do you work and how do you import, or how do you start working with NumPy arrays? So to do that, let me first activate my Conda environment, as we saw in the previous lectures. If you don't know, go watch those lectures again. Conda activate DS bootcamp. So this is going to activate my Conda environment. By the way, if you followed my lectures, and if you install Anaconda, NumPy should be in there already. If not, you can always do conda install NumPy, and that will install the NumPy package for you, right? Press yes, and it's just doing its thing, and it's done. So there's one more way. If you're not following my lectures and you just have pip or some other virtual env, some other kind of virtual environment you're using, you can just do pip install NumPy. That should also work, but I would highly advise you to use the Conda environment, Conda virtual environment, which is much more easier to work with. It's awesome for data science packages. So yeah, that's how you install NumPy on your system if you don't already have it. Now let's go in our IPython shell. Okay, and let's just try to import NumPy now. Okay, import NumPy, and it's importing NumPy, it seems like. And awesome, there you go. So we're done importing NumPy. You can also check the NumPy version by typing NumPy version 2 underscores, and there you go. My version is 1.19.2. Yours should be something similar, or if you're watching this video in the future, might be something new. There's a convention that people usually use when working with NumPy. It's usually import NumPy as NP. In the data science community or Python community, this is the go-to alias NP for NumPy. So even in this course, we're going to be using NP as an alias for NumPy. So if you're going to look at the NumPy namespace, you can just do NumPy, press tab, and you will see all these nice methods or attributes available to us. So yeah. So for example, you also want to look at the documentation, as we learned in our IPython lecture before. To look at an object's documentation, you just do object name and just do question mark, and you will see the documentation of that specific package or library. And there you have it. That's how you access NumPy's documentation. And also remember this guy here, very important. Import NumPy as NP. This guy here is an alias, and this is what most of the time we use in data science community as that alias. So we're going to be using that in our course too. So that's it, guys. That's pretty much it as far as intro to NumPy is concerned. This is our first lecture in NumPy series. We're going to be looking into more interesting things, working with arrays, things like that in a future lecture. So just stay tuned.